So now let's have a look at our foundation or top of footing plan. Double click on here. We open that up. We'll notice that what we're seeing here is we're seeing the foundation wall. Okay, we'll turn up our detail level here. We'll go to shaded mode. That actually doesn't look too bad. So there's our foundation wall, but we're not seeing our footing. And the reason why is because we cannot see it through our view range. Okay, every view, if you look in here, when you select something, watch, click on it, your properties will reflect that object. If you click a bunch of objects, it'll kind of narrow that down. In this case, grid lines and walls don't have enough in common, so you don't see any properties. When you don't have anything selected, escape, these are the properties of the view itself. Okay, if I switch to a different view, north view elevation, and pan over, if I pick on something once again, it'll show me the properties of that object. Click on here, shows me the properties of that object. Click out. If I don't have anything selected, these are the properties of this view. Each view has its own properties and scale factor and these settings. So this visibility stuff down here and these properties reflect each individual view independently. Okay, so now having said that, we go back and open up our top of footing. And what's happening in here, in this view, there's a property very important called view range. And it takes a little while to get a handle on this. But if you click edit inside of here, this is very important when you're starting to use Revit, specifically in plans. This only applies in a plan view. And you have the primary range and the view depth. Okay, within the primary range we have the cut plane, which is the most critical part, and then we have the top of that range and the bottom of that range. So what's happening here in this particular view, by default, it's cutting the plane 4 feet above the level that it was created. So top of footing is at the top of footing level, okay, and it's cutting it 4 feet above that. Okay, and then it's going to pick up stuff that it's cutting that go up to 7'6", and it's going to go down to 0 from top of footing. The view depth is also 0. So this really means that we're not going to see anything below this level. And the top of footing is exactly right at that level. So let's just cancel this for a second. Double click on my section bubble, and we can see here there's my top of footing and there's my footing. Well, the view range is stopping right at that level. It's not seeing anything below it. So what we have to do is tell the view range to look beyond this point. Okay, zoom out a little bit, back to my top of footing. Double click. So within this view, with nothing selected, I'm going to go down to my view range. I don't need to change my cut plane because that's okay. It's cutting the wall at a good point. I might even want to drop this down a little bit, 3'6", just to make it in the middle. Okay, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take the bottom and the view depth and lower them. Okay, what I want to do is I want to change this to just say unlimited. In fact, this one, the bottom here is fine. Okay, I can leave this at that level. What I'm going to do is change the view depth beyond. View depth is beyond this, and it behaves a little bit different. So watch, I'm going to go in here and say just unlimited. See down as far as you can go. No limit on the view depth. Okay, hit apply, boom, all of a sudden I can see my footings. Okay, you can also set this, but that's not going to make any difference if this is not set below. So if you try to do this unlimited and set this to there and hit apply, it's going to give you an error and say you cannot set the bottom depth below the actual view depth. This is currently higher than this. So then you can just set this back to here and use this. And we're going to open up our help in a second and say unlimited, hit apply, hit OK. Now we can see the footing, it's just the wrong line type. Okay, we're going to come back and talk about that footing line type in our next lesson, but I'm just going to continue down our path of view range. If I go back here to view range again, okay, if you click the help menu, it actually gives you a pretty good diagram of how view range works and a pretty good explanation. So I'm just going to resize this window for us here. Okay, and if you go down here, in this help menu, I believe I haven't used this one lately. There we go. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. So you should take the time to read this. Okay, I went in the help menu from the dialog box. Everyone needs to read this word for word and read it a couple of times because it's fairly well explained here. Okay, but for the most part, there's a diagram of how it works. There's the view. The primary range is the blue, and then this is the view depth. Okay, and if you look at these pointers 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 4, that's here. The top, the cut plane, the bottom, offset, primary range. So have a look through this. Okay, this is where it's getting cut. If the windows and stuff don't fall within that, then you might have to create what is called a plan region. A plan region allows you to have a varying cut plane within the view. So you can go to our CAD Clips webpage and look for videos on plan region. Okay, some more information here. Okay, and there's also some exceptions on how things work, modifying the view range. So go in here, get some more information. You can also search our CAD Clips webpage and read up on view range. We have many videos on view range. So that's a good one to check on. So you can go to the CAD Clips webpage and search for view range and cut plane and foundations as well. So I just wanted to point that information out. We have lots more stuff on it. So hitting OK, that gives us at least the view of the footings. And we'll come back and talk about how we can make the footing lines dashed or whatever we want.